the current affairs for the day. So we are covering the development of 20th October. Fine. So the first news is about the international organization called the Interpol, the International Criminal Police Organization. Okay. So Indian Prime Minister addressed the 90th Interpol General Assembly session at Pragati Maidan in New Delhi. That means India is hosting the 90th Interpol meeting in the capital city. Fine. So this is a great achievement for India. The 90th General Assembly of Interpol is being held from 18th to 21st of October 2022. The meeting is being attended by delegation from 195 Interpol member countries. That means this International Criminal Police Organization has 195 member countries. Fine. And consisting of the ministers, means in that law means that's home ministers or the security minister of the countries, police chief of countries, heads of national central bureaus and senior police officers. The General Assembly of Interpol is Interpol's supreme governing body and meets once a year to take decisions relating to its functioning. So this General Assembly, consisting of the ministers, senior police officers, police chief and other senior police officers of member countries, is the supreme governing body, the highest decision making body of Interpol, the organization called International Criminal Police Organization. Fine. So and so this is being held in India after a long gap. Okay. So fortunately this is a good news for India, because accepting India's proposal to host the meeting, the Interpol member countries agreed, and India is hosting the 90th Interpol General Assembly meeting in New Delhi. Fine. Interpol General Assembly meeting is taking place in India after a gap of about 25 years. Okay. So after a gap of 25 years, so India is hosting this meeting. It was last held in 1997. India's proposal to host the Interpol General Assembly in 2022 at New Delhi, coinciding with celebration of the 75 years of independence, Azadi Ki Amrit Mahotsav, was accepted by the General Assembly of the Interpol with an overwhelming majority. Okay, because this is coinciding with India's observing its 75 years of independence and celebrating the Azadi Ki Amrit Mahotsav. The event provides an opportunity to showcase best practices in India's law and order system to the entire world. But this opportunity will be utilized. This event provides an opportunity to showcase best practices in India's law and order system to the entire world. Fine. This is what earlier Interpol has rejected a second request by India to issue a red corner notice against Guru Tapat Singh Poonam, the Canada-based founder of the and legal advisor of the pro-Pakistan outfit Sikh for Justice, whom the Union Home Ministry of Home Affairs has listed as terrorist under the lawful activity. Okay, so see, coincidence. On the one side, the red corner notice issued, okay, by India against a person to brand him a terrorist has been rejected by Interpol. Simultaneously, Interpol governing general body agreed to, or General Assembly agreed to held its meeting in India. Okay, this is diametrically two different things. So India is being given importance to host the meeting, but India's demand for this issuing red corner notice against a dreaded terrorist is rejected by the Interpol, or International Police Organization. Fine. So what is Interpol? Interpol, or International Criminal Police Organization, established in 1923, is an intergovernmental organization. So Interpol is an intergovernmental organization comprising 195 member countries. So total membership is 195. Okay, which helps police forces in all these countries to better coordinate their action. Okay, so what it is? To better coordinate their actions. According to the Interpol website, the organization enables member countries to share and access data on crimes and criminals and offer a range of technical and operational support. Fine. What? So offers a, so it is access data on crime and criminals and offer a range of technical and operational supports. Okay. Whom? To the member countries. The Interpol General Secretariat coordinates the organization's day-to-day activities. It is run by a Secretary General. Okay. Head is Secretary General. Presently, Germany's Jürgen Stock is the Secretary General of the Interpol, who has been Interpol's chief executive since 2014, with its headquarters in Lyon in France. Okay, the headquarters of International Police Organization Interpol is Lyon in France, with a global complex for innovation in Singapore and several satellite offices in different regions. Headquarters is at Lyon in France, but it has its other offices spread over the world. Fine. And its activities are coordinated by the Secretary General, who is the head of the organization, and he coordinates the activities of the organization and support the member countries in their complaint regarding the criminal activity committed by individuals who have left the country, and that needs the support of the Interpol in tracking them, arresting them, and handing over them for their trial in the country of origin. So Interpol has no custody to keep the criminals. Whenever Interpol arrests someone in a foreign country, it hands over the criminal to the police of that particular country, and the police of that country, so they in fact coordinate with the country of origin of the criminal, and if there is an extradition treaty to the two countries, suppose a person is Indian, a person in India has committed a crime, and Indian police has requested Interpol to issue a red corner arrest warrant, and that arrest warrant has been issued, and suppose that man is arrested in a particular country, take it as in a neighboring country, Bangladesh. If India and Bangladesh, and on immediately on the arrest, the Interpol will hand over the person to the Bangladesh police, because Interpol has no custody of its own to keep the criminal. Okay, so definitely it will hand over the criminal to the country where he has been apprehended, or the entry point or international entry point. Okay, like port, airports, etc. So then that country and the country of origin, in case they have an extradition treaty. Okay, which treaty? It is called the Treaty of Extradition. Okay, so extradition treaty, EXTRADITION, extradition treaty. Then the person can be handed over to the country of origin for his trial. You can say India and Portugal have extradition treaty, so we have handed over, Portugal has handed over many criminals to India. India and Bangladesh have extradition treaty, and many criminals have been handed over from Bangladesh to India. Okay, but we don't have an extradition treaty with Pakistan. So Indian criminals staying in Pakistan, so Pakistan is not handing over them to India. Fine. This is the situation there. Fine. Moving further. Interpol has a national central bureau, NCB, in each member country, which is the central point of contact for both the General Secretariat and other national central bureau around the world. Each NCB is run by police officials of that country and usually sits in the government ministry responsible for policing, like the Home Ministry in India. Fine. NCP office in every country is managed by the police of its own country. Suppose the NCP office in India is managed by the police officers from India, and they are they belong to the Indian Home Ministry of India, and they coordinate with the similar offices around the world in different countries. Fine. So Interpol don't have any special officers from foreign country posted in different country to track the criminals. The police of that particular country heads the National Central Bureau of Interpol in that country. They coordinate with the similar National Central Bureau of other countries in tracking the criminals. Fine. The Central Bureau of Investigation in India is officially designated single point contact for liaison with the Interpol. So in our country, the CBI, okay, Central Bureau of Investigation, okay, is officially designated as a single point of contact for liaison with the Interpol. In case any other country's National Central Bureau is to contact the Indian authority, so whom they will contact? They will contact the Central Bureau of investigation of India, because it represent India in the Interpol. It is India's link with the Interpol. Thus, the Interpol manages 19 police databases with information on crime and criminals, from names and fingerprints to stolen passports, accessible in real time to countries. It also offers investigate support such as forensic support, analysis, and assistance in locating fugitives around the world. So, who are the fugitives? So, who have fugitive is a person who has committed a crime and left the country and is moving around the world or is living in another country. Okay. Suppose a person committed crime. So example, like fugitive economic offenders like Vijay Mallya. Okay. So he has committed economic offences in India, has left India and is staying in a foreign country. He is called a fugitive. Okay. So Nirav Modi is another example of a fugitive. So who has committed economic offences and has left the country and is living in foreign country. They are called the fugitives. Okay. And the fugitives tracking is also done by the Interpol on the request of the country of origin. Fine. So next, what is Interpol notice? Interpol notice or international request. Okay. Very clear. So who request? The country where the crime has been committed. Request to Interpol. Okay. That means Interpol notices are international requests made by member countries for cooperation or alert allowing police in member country to share critical crime related information. Fine. Suppose a criminal committed a crime in India and left India. So Indian concerned ministry department like the CBI, which is designated office in India, will contact Interpol headquarter to issue a notice. So that notice means is a request made by the country where the crime has been committed by a person or a criminal, and that notice, there are different types of notices. Okay. Note that such notice can also be used by the United Nations, International Criminal Tribunals and the International Criminal Court to seek person wanted for committing crimes within their jurisdiction. The notice issued by a particular country are also accepted by the United Nations. Fine. So by the International Criminal Tribunals and by the International Criminal Court. Okay. That means this notice has its own value. Fine. And this notice of the Interpol, so Interpol issued different notices like the red notice, which is called the red corner notice. Okay. It seek to locate, arrest a person wanted by a judicial jurisdiction or an international tribunal with a view to his or her extradition. This is the tough notice issue. With that, the most important or the most widely accepted, widely enforced, and widely respected notice issued on behalf of Interpol is the red corner notice, which is popularly known as the red corner arrest warrant. Fine. It is seek to locate like the location, arrest of a person wanted by a judicial jurisdiction. It's not by the enforcement authority of a country or the law enforcement authority. It is by the judicial jurisdiction. That means the person has committed a crime. The matter has been sent to the court in the country. The court has given order to arrest the person. So on the court order, the Interpol office in the state, so that country requests the Interpol to arrest him in a foreign country, because that man, after committing the crime, has left the country and is living in another country. So this is not issued, this red corner notice is not issued by the law enforcement agency, or it is not a request by the law enforcement agency, rather it is a request by the judicial order. Fine. Fine. Then green notice, to warn about a person's criminal activity if that person is considered to be a possible threat to public safety. He has not committed any crime for the time being, but his previous track record shows that he has some criminal antecedent and he has a criminal bent of mind. He has committed crimes earlier, so be careful about him. Okay, the green notice is issued to a person's criminal activity. Okay, because he has committed some crime in the past, possibility of committing the same crime is there, So a green notice is issued to warn other member country that be careful about that person because he has a criminal track record, or what is called as criminal antecedent. Fine. Then blue notice to locate, identify, or obtain information on a person's interest in a criminal investigation. Fine. So this is to know about someone in a country. Okay. So the government of a country can request Interpol to locate the person and obtain information regarding him. Okay, because this information may lead to better investigation in the case. Yellow notice to locate a missing person or to identify a person unable to identify himself or herself. This is yellow color notice. Black notice to seek information on unidentified bodies. Orange notice to warn an event, a person, an object, or a process representing an imminent threat or danger to persons or property. Purple notice to provide information on modus operandi, procedures, objects, devices, or hiding places used by criminals. Fine. Then Interpol and UNSC special notice. UNSC is what is United Nations Security Council. To inform Interpol's member that an individual or an entity is subject to UN sanction. Fine. If UN impose sanction on a person like is a global terrorist, who can declare a person as a global terrorist? Only the United Nations Security Council is authorized to declare a person as a global terrorist in that circumstances. So if United Nations Security Council issue notice to Interpol that this man has a criminal track record, this man has committed a crime, he is a criminal, so that particular notice, okay, and he has been sanctioned by United Nations Security Council. In that case, it is called a Interpol UNSC special notice. It is the most valuable one because the UNSC, the most powerful organization of the United Nations, has declared that man as a criminal, fine, and has imposed sanction on him. When United Nations Security Council impose sanction on someone, so it has this global ramification, fine. So that is what is called the Interpol UNSC special notice, fine. Then what are the global policing goals? What the Interpol want to achieve? Several global policing goals reflect Interpol's priorities against criminal and terrorist threats. In alignment with the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, okay, you know, United Nations General Assembly has adopted the SDG goal 2030, containing 17 goals to be achieved between 2015 to 2030. But it is known as the SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. Okay. Class fine. So SDG or Sustainable Development Goal. So 2015 to 2030. Fine. So there are 17 goals. Okay. Prior to this was MDG, Millennium Development Goals, with 8 goals between 2000 to 2015. After this came the SDG. Okay. So the goal 16 or SDG 16. So out of 17, the goal number 16 is peace, justice, and strong institution. That is the target of this, the content of the goal number 16 under the SDG. Right. What this goal number 16 want to justify? So it want to achieve peace, justice, and strong institution. Set target to reduce all forms of violence, to curtail arms trafficking, and to fight organized crime. Fine. 3 things. Here the goal 16 has a focus on that set target to reduce all forms of violence around the world. Then to curtail arms trafficking. So trafficking means transfer of arms from one, illegal movement of arms from one country to another, and fight organized crime. You know, organized crime became transnational. Okay. Criminals sitting in one country are able to commit crime in another country because they run criminal or crime syndicates, as it is called. Fine. And it is not that easy on the part of the police of that particular country to track the network of the transnational criminals who are engaged in organized crime, because sitting in another country they are able to organize a crime in another country through their proxy in that particular country. Fine. So what is the goal number one? Counter the threat of terrorism. Goal 2, promote border integrity worldwide. Goal 3, protect vulnerable communities. Goal 4, secure cyberspace for people and business. Goal 5, promote global integrity. Fine. So under SDG 16, the which is linked to this policing goals, fine, or the where the Interpol has a role. So they have further subdivided the goals into some category, like goal number 1 under 16, sub goal under 16 are counter the threat of terrorism, promote border integrity worldwide, protect vulnerable communities, secure cyberspace for people and business, promote global integrity. Fine. So these are the goals set under SDG 16 by, and goal 6, curb illicit markets, and 7, support environmental security and sustainability. So under the goal 16 of SDG, the which is lead to peace, justice and strong institution. So here comes the role of this international policing. They have further subdivided into 7 targets, like counter the threat of terrorism, promote border integrity worldwide, means promote integrity to the border. The border of each country is sacrosanct. So no other country should try to violate the territorial border of another country. That means border integrity. Then protect vulnerable communities. Some communities are vulnerable because they are at threat from the majority community, like the Rohingyas in Myanmar, right? So like the Chakmas in Bangladesh. Okay, so they are called the vulnerable communities. They are to be protected. The secure cyberspace for people and business. You know, cybercrime or the crimes committed in the cyberspace are the growing menace around the world, not only in India but around the world. With the spread of internet technology, ICT, information communication technology, a new form of crime has surfaced, and that is called as the cybercrime. So cybercrime is the crime committed in the cyber domain using, what is cybercrime? Cybercrime is a crime which is committed using the computer and communication devices either as a medium or as a tool. Remember that particular definition of cybercrime. What is cybercrime? Crime committed in the cyberspace using the computer and communication devices either as a medium or as a tool. If a particular system is used as a medium or a particular system is used as a tool to commit the crime, okay, that is called the cybercrime, and this is growing. It has different ramifications from that obscene scene to that bank frauds. Okay, hijacking that you can say ransomwares. Okay, few months back there is a big issue called this WannaCry ransomware. So that hijacking your domain and demanding ransom to release it. That is what, and this is growing. Bank frauds, all these, you all know the issues, and this is not only an Indian issue. This is a global phenomenon, right? And Interpol also deal with the cybercrime. Then comes promote global integrity, because peace can be sustainable, can be durable with integration among the member countries in the global family. Fine. Then the goal number 7, goal number 6 is curb illicit market. You know, there is illicit market for everything. Okay. Even recently there is a news, there is illicit market for the commonly available drugs. Means not drugs means not the illegal materials, but the medicines. Okay, medicines sold over the internet. Okay, without verifying its credibility. That's called the illegal markets. There is illegal market for arms, weapons, drugs, medicines, or pharma products. There is illegal market for everything. Okay, and to check it. Okay, and support environmental security and sustainability. Right. So because even at the security point of view, this is a very big issue that this organization is a police organization, but it also have environmental concern at its own, because you know environment is a holistic approach where there is that trees, animals, species, all these are at the top is the human being. Okay, so if one is affected, so definitely environment is going to be affected. There is trading of endangered species around the world that goes on, and that Interpol do that. Okay. So then what else it can know? A service called 24/7 is operated by Interpol, which is a global police communication system that provides a common platform for the member countries' police organization to share sensitive and urgent police information with each other. It is 24/7. Okay, so 24 hours, 7 days a week, this system operates. To what for? But this is a common platform for member countries of the police organized to share sensitive and urgent police information. What? To share sensitive and urgent police informations with each other. Suppose the police of one country want information regarding a particular person from another country. So it cannot wait for a day or a week or month to access it. It must be made available at the earliest. That is why this 24/7 channel is open to provide that sensitive and urgent police information about the person asked by the police of another country, and this is where the information is to be provided at the immediately. So this 24/7 mechanism is available to share this. India Central Bureau of Investigation has joined the Interpol's International Child Sexual Exploitation. It's a big challenge around the world, what is called the child sexual exploitation. Okay, this growing crime is a global phenomenon, and India has decided to join this that Interpol initiative. Okay, that will allow it to collaborate with investigators in other countries for detecting child sex abuse online and identifying abusers, victims, and crime scenes from audiovisual clips using specialized software. Fine, and to track them because this is growing. Okay, so as this child sexual harassment exploitation is a growing phenomenon around the world, and the global effort should be there to check it for the future safety of our own children around the world. Fine, so that's why Indian CBI has joined this Interpol Intervention International Child Sexual Exploitation Initiative. Fine, so this is a coordination, and using technology and Indian expertise, India can support this initiative. Okay, so what are the key takeaway from our Prime Minister who addressed the 90th Interpol General Assembly meeting or session held in New Delhi? Fine, addressing the session, Indian Prime Minister urged the Interpol to speed up the process of issuing red notice against fugitive offenders. Most importantly, because India in the recent past has issued a red corner arrest warrant against fugitive economic offenders like Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi, etc. Okay, so India urged Interpol to expedite the process of issuing red notice against fugitive offenders. Who are the offenders? Fugitive means who committed a crime and left the country and is taking shelter in another country in a hidden identity or in any other identity. Fine, because they hold normally multiple passport. Right, those they have total modus operandi very well planned, and they have multiple passports, and they live in different identity in different countries. And when a country country like India issue a red corner arrest warrant against any fugitive economic offender, it is a request by the Indian Prime Minister to Interpol that it should be taken seriously, and instant action from the Interpol side is expected from India, so the process can be logically concluded. Fine. PM highlighted that there are many harmful globalized threats that the world faces: terrorism, corruption, drug trafficking, poaching of animals, endangered species, organized crimes. The pace of change of these dangers is faster than earlier. Using technology, using the fastest moving movement technology. Fine. So sophisticated weapons. Okay, using this web world or the cyber domain. Okay, these crimes are committed and becoming faster. When threats are global, the response cannot be just local. If this is a global threat to almost all the country, no one country will be able to control it. That needs a global effort. So coordination of all the country to control this set of offenses or this menace can result in finding solution to this and bringing those unlawful elements to justice. Why? It is high time that the world come together to defeat these threats. Corruption and financial crimes have harmed the welfare of the citizens of the any country. This is one of the major source of terror funding. What is corruption and financial crime? Fine. And this is a big source of terror funding. The money earned through illegal means is donated to the tribal group, the terrorist groups. Okay. So the money earned from drug trafficking, arms smuggling, etc., used by the terrorists. Means once these sources are closed, so major funding to the terrorist will be coming to a grinding halt, and that will definitely have a controlling effect or negative impact on the terrorist activities. You see, an example you can take in the post demonetization period in India, the national activity has come to a grinding reduction because the illegal money was with the Naxal outfits was checked, and the fake currency network which they are running came to an abrupt end. So that in the with the lack of resources, so their activity was also reduced. Fine. This is what Prime Minister told addressing the meeting. Okay. From illegal drug that destroy young lives to human trafficking, from weakening democracy to sell of illegal arms, this dirty money funds many destructive enterprises. This is highlighted by our Prime Minister addressing the Interpol's 90th General Assembly session held in New Delhi. Underlining that a safe and secure world is shared responsibility, PM stated that it is no longer enough that terrorist is fought only in the physical space. It is now spreading in presence through online radicalization and cyber threat. You see, the internet and communication mechanism is used to radicalize the youth, influence them, wash their brain, and indoctrinate the young mind to criminal activity or terrorist activity. Okay, this is the new strategy adopted by the terrorist group. They are using the online format to hypnotize or to mesmerize or to influence the youngsters to the path of terrorism. And in the recent past, there is so many instances have been reported where highly educated from well-off families, well-educated families, okay, have joined terrorism because through the online propaganda they have been influenced. Okay. Underlining that safe and secure world is shared responsibility, PM states that it is no longer enough that terrorism is fought only in the physical space. It is now spreading its presence through online radicalization and cyber threats. There is a need to further develop international strategies, establishment of early detection and warning system, protecting transportation services, security for communication infrastructure, security for critical infrastructure, technical and technological assistance, intelligence exchange. Many of these things need to be taken to a new level. But this is what was highlighted by the Prime Minister of India. Okay. Then extolling the virtue of India's democracy and its diversity, PM said that India police have a tough task implementing more than 900 national and around 10,000 state laws like Indian festivals such as the Kumbh Mela, India's fairs and festivals, massive elections. So Indian police is able to successfully play its role not only in maintaining peace and security but also in other domains. ହଁ ଛାଡ଼ିଦେବା ସେ କହୁଥିଲେ ମୁଁ 3 ଘଣ୍ଟା ଖଣ୍ଡେ ଲାଗିବ 10:30 ଧରୁ ତ ସୋ 1 o'clock ପାଖାପାଖି ଆପଣ ଯାଇକି କ୍ଲାସ୍ରେ କହିଦେଉନାହାନ୍ତି ବସିକି ଆପଣ କ୍ଲାସ୍ରେ ବସିକି କହିଦିଅନ୍ତୁ କ'ଣ କହୁଛନ୍ତି କଣ୍ଟେଣ୍ଟ ସରିନଥିବ ତ ଆପଣ ଯିବେ କୋଉଠି ଆପଣ ଗୋଟେ ବାହାର ପଳେଇବେ କି ନା ସେଟା ଦେଖିବା ଆପଣ କହିଲେନି 2.5 to 3 hours ନେବେ କ୍ଲାସ୍ ବୋଲି କହୁଛନ୍ତି ନିଅନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣ ହେଇନି ନା କ୍ଲାସ୍ ସବୁ ଆଙ୍ଗେଲରୁ ନେଇଗଲେ ଆମକୁ କାଲି ଇଣ୍ଟରଭ୍ୟୁ ପାଇଁ ସୁବିଧା ହେବ ଓକେ ଓକେ so the area of concern are growing to find resonance all over the world from human trafficking to disturbing instances of financial crimes by the high and mighty safe haven provided fugitive accused by terrorists and money laundering and proliferation of illicit trade based on counterfeiting and smuggling. Transnational organized crime continue to thrive due to illicit network that operate on the strength of money laundering. What is money laundering? Money laundering is illegal movement of money from one country to another. Okay, so that is what this is a big crime. Okay, and big criminal syndicates, terrorist groups are involved in this money laundering activity because this is very lucrative, and that income generated from money laundering is used to finance the terrorist activity. So money laundering is a global phenomenon, and that money laundering leads to many crimes because the criminals are able to utilize that money for their nefarious design. Okay, then that has been highlighted by the Prime Minister, Indian Prime Minister. Then transnational organized crime. Okay, so continue to thrive due to illicit network that operate on a strength of money laundering. The complex intertwined structure of crime funding terrorism across the globe is not yet demolished. That means this is continuing around the world. Fine. So these are highlighted with the Prime Minister addressing, providing information about crime and criminals in the digital space, preventing abuse of cyberspace, and stalling hackers on the dark web are areas where Interpol global security architecture is used. Right. It has undertaken various operations in different countries relating to the trafficking of women and children, cybercrime, online piracy, spurious pharmaceuticals, narcotic smuggling, illegal gun trade, missing person, stolen and lost travel documents. See the wide domain of the internet or Interpol activities. Okay, Interpol, however, is required now to articulate an expansion beyond its database and tools. The success it secured in that I-24 for 24/7 information sharing aside, the importance of real-time dissemination of information often obtained through unbiased use of data analytics as a crucial imperative for emerging challenges should gain primacy. Because in the age of internet and faster technology, the internet should that Interpol should use this as a tool to its advantage, to its use. Right. Equitable significance should be accorded to the legitimate interest of growing economies pursuing democratic charter. These are all highlighted by the Prime Minister. In its composition, Interpol is like the UN, but it is not made for dispute resolution. It is designed to assist the police forces of member nations. Fine. Interpol is neither a investigating agency like the CBI nor a frontline police force. It is mandated to share information and provide back-end technical assistance to law enforcement agencies. Interpol action taken against notorious fugitive is consequential of a commensurate action from member nations where the fugitive might be seeking shelter. Interpol cannot on its own act on its own. The desired legal course of action depends upon bilateral arrangements like mutual legal assistance treaties. Interpol cannot arrest a person and hand it over to the country which has requested for it. Fine. Suppose the Indian CBI has requested the arrest of X, and X has been arrested in Bangladesh. So, who arrests? The Bangladesh office of Interpol, managed by the Bangladeshi police, will arrest him. So, in case India has a mutual legal assistance agreement with Bangladesh, then so Bangladesh police will hand over the person to India. Otherwise, they will not hand over. So that is what. So, in case more and more countries sign the mutual legal assistance treaty, the activity of Interpol will be more facilitated. Fine. Interpol will turn 100 next year. Now it is time to calibrate to counter emerging challenges. Policing is not merely a process of maintaining the rule of law throughout deterrent punitive measures against crime and criminals. Public spirited, efficient policing is the most meaningful confidence building measures that people across diverse geographical contours desire and deserve right now. Interpol and law enforcement agencies of member nations must endeavor to build, maintain, and operate a people-centric ecosystem to meet the evolving challenges. Fine, that is what. Fine. So this is all about intro from the very first topic, slightly lengthy. The second topic that we have taken is most important prelim point of view. It is a historical topic about the Lothal Port, oldest dock in the world to get heritage complex. In the Indus Valley civilization, there is a port town called Lothal. Okay, so recently Prime Minister reviewed the construction of the National Maritime Heritage Complex at Gujarat's Lothal via video conferencing. Lothal was one of the southernmost sites of the Indus Valley civilization, located in the Bhal region of what is now the state of Gujarat. The port city is believed to have been built in 2200 BC. Lothal was a thriving trade center in ancient time, with its trades of bead, gems, ornaments reaching West of Asia and Africa. The meaning of Lothal, a combination of Loth and Thal in Gujarat, is mound of the dead. Fine, that's called the Lothal. Incidentally, name of the city of Mohenjo-daro, okay, means the same as in Sindhi. India's archaeologists started the search for site of the Harappan civilization post 1947 in Gujarat Saurashtra region. Archaeologist S.R. Rao led the team which discovered a number of Harappan sites at the time, including the port city of Lothal. So, who discovered Lothal? It is archaeologist. S.R. Rao. Remember this prelim point of view. Archaeologist S.R. Rao discovered the site of Lothal. Right. Excavation was carried out in the Lothal between February 55 and May 1960. According to Archaeological Survey of India, Lothal had the world's earliest known dock, connecting the city to an ancient course of the Sabarmati River. Fine. Additionally, the National Institute of Oceanography, Goa, discovered maritime microfossils and salt gypsum crystals at the site, indicating that seawater once filled the structure and it was definitely a dockyard. Fine. So, Lothal was a dockyard. It is a port which was used during the Indus Valley civilization. In later excavations, ASI unearthed a mound, a township, a marketplace, and the dock. Adjacent to the excavated area stand the archaeological site museum, where some of the most prominent collection of Indus era antiques in India are displayed. But the heritage value of this, Lothal was nominated in April 2014 as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and its application is pending on the tentative list of UNESCO World Heritage Site. Fine. So once it gets that ratification, it will be getting international recognition. Fine. As per the nomination dossier submitted to UNESCO, the excavated site of Lothal is the only port town of the Indus Valley civilization. A metropolis with an upper and lower town had in on its northern sides, a basin with vertical wall, inlet and outlet channels, which has been identified as a tidal dockyard, has been located there. Okay, satellite image show that river channels now dried. So there is river channels which has been dried right now, could have brought in considerable volume of water during the high tides, which would have filled the basin and facilitated sailing of boats upstream. The remains of stone anchor, marine cell, ceiling which trace its source in the Persian Gulf, together with the structure identified as a warehouse, further aid to the comprehension of the functioning of the port. Its heritage value is comparable to other ancient port towns around the world, including Scalha, Peru, Osita, port of Rome, Carthage, port of Tunis, then Heppu in China, Bonopos in Egypt, Gabel in Peloponnesians, Jaffna in Jaffa in Israel, Ur in Mesopotamia, okay, Hui Anna in Vietnam. In the region, it can be compared with other Indus port towns of Balakot in Pakistan, Khirasa in Gujarat's Kutch districts, and Kuntasi in Rajkot. Fine. So it has its own contemporary sites. Okay. What is the new project by the government? The new project began in 2022 and is being developed at a cost of 3,500 crore. Fine. will have several innovative features such as lethal mini recreation, which will recreate Harappan architecture and lifestyle through immersive technology. Besides, four theme parks: the Memorial Theme Park, the Maritime and Navy Theme Park, Climate Theme Park, and the Adventure and Amusement Theme Park will be created there. It will also house the world's tallest lighthouse museum, 14 galleries highlighting India's maritime heritage, starting from the Harappan time till today, as well as a coastal states pavilion displaying the diverse maritime heritage of Indian states and union territories. The National Maritime Heritage Complex at Lothal will act as a center for learning and understanding India's maritime history. The National Maritime Heritage Corridor is being developed with the aim of displaying India's diverse maritime heritage and also help Lothal emerge as a world-class international tourist destination. This is what the Government of India's plan is. Through this National Maritime Heritage Museum or Museum Center, Government of India want to develop Lothal as a world-class international tourist destination based on historical sites. Fine. Okay. Then the next news is regarding the Said Mohammed terrorist. Okay. So this China has blocked a proposal by India and USA at the United Nations to list Lashkar-e-Toiba leader Said Mohammed as a global terrorist. Right. So India and USA jointly moved a proposal in UNSC to declare this Mohammed Said as a global terrorist, as a Lashkar-e-Toiba terrorist, Said Mohammed. But China has used its veto power against it. The fourth time in many months that China has blocked bid to blacklist Pakistani-based terrorists at the United Nations. The latest move come at a time when the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres is in India and has paid homage to the victims of the Mumbai terror attack. That's for 26/11. Okay, carried by the Lashkar-e-Toiba. Okay, the Kasab issue. India and the US have proposed that Mohammed, 42 years, be designated as a global terrorist under the 2167 Al Qaeda Sanctions Committee of the United Nations Security Council, but it was applied veto by China in this way. Who is Said Mohammed? According to US Department of Treasury, which designated Mohammed as a specially designated global terrorist in 2016, he is a senior Lashkar-e-Toiba member based in Karachi and has been affiliated with the group since last 2007 and early June 2015, though at least June 2016, Mohammed served as the vice chairman of the Falai-e-Insaf Foundation, a humanitarian fundraising arms of Lashkar-e-Toiba. In 2014, Mohammed was the leader of the FIF in Karachi. In August 2013, Mohammed was identified as a elite publications wing member. Okay, and how China objected? In June 2022, China put a hold a proposal by India and the US to blacklist Pakistan-based terrorist Abdul Rahman Makki. So earlier, in the 1216 Al Qaeda Sanction Committee. Okay, and earlier also Pakistan blocked. Then in August 2022, China blocked a senior Jaish-e-Mohammed leader Abdul Rafu Azhar. In September 2022, China again blocked a proposal by US and co-sponsored by India to designate Lashkar-e-Toiba terrorist Said Mir as a global terrorist. So over the period, China has been blocking all India USA sponsored proposal to declare persons or terrorists as global terrorists. Okay, this is a support that China has been extending to Pakistan. Fine. What is this 1267 Al Qaeda Sanction Committee? The committee is part of the UN Sanction Council and its job is to implement international sanctions against terrorists. The other two committees with similar role are the Counter Terrorist Committee and the Security Council Committee. Okay, this Al Qaeda Sanction Committee so is created by United Nations to declare global terrorist. Okay, individuals global terrorist on the proposal given by member countries. But Chinese application of veto is blocking these moves. Right? The Al Qaeda Committee was established as the Al Qaeda and Taliban Sanction Committee on October 1999. Of the Security Council Resolution 1267 designated Al Qaeda and Taliban as terrorist body. In 2011, a separate committee was formed for the Taliban. Resolution 1267